Hey sports fans, welcome to another installment of Talkin' Rangers Baseball. I'm Hondo, and we're going to be joined momentarily on the phone from Modesto by Boppy. And we are brought to you by sportswagers-elections.com. They're really hot this year so far, off to a good start in the football season, picking 73% winners in college football, 19-7, and with their NFL top plays, going 12-4 for a 75% win percentage. So give them a look at sportswagers-elections.com and you won't be sorry. This is going to be our NLCS preview as we're going to take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies Giants series, which will begin Saturday in Philadelphia. The winner, of course, will advance to the American League or to the World Series against the winner of the ALCS between the Rangers and Yankees. And we're joined by Boppy from Modesto. Hi, Boppy. How are you?
It's an exciting time for baseball, and luckily enough, I'm really familiar with one of the two teams coming into this series, with the Giants, because the Giants, of course, in Modesto, they're one of the local teams, and we get their games every night. Well,
it's probably one of the marquee pitching matchups of the season coming up in Game 1 on Saturday, when you're going to have Roy Halladay, who, if somebody comes up and tells you he's the best pitcher in baseball, it's hard to argue with him, going up against the Giants' Tim Lincecum, two-time Cy Young Award winner, and something's got to give. What do you think about that matchup?
I think it's exactly what you would want in the playoffs. I think, again, you and I have said this again and again and again, but in the playoffs it comes down to pitching, defense, and situational hitting. And the Phillies have a better lineup, but I think when you're facing a pitcher like Tim Lincecum, the lineup doesn't matter. You're going to have to manufacture runs to beat Tim Lincecum. You're going to have to manufacture runs to beat Roy Halladay. It's going to come down to whoever does it.
And you've got, three. I mean, both teams have a very good starting top three. With, of course, for the Phillies, it's Halladay, Oswald, Hamels. For the Giants, you got Lincecum, Kane, Sanchez. Their number 4 will be Baumgartner, and the number 4 for the Phillies will be, of course, Joe Blanton. What do you think overall of the series as far as the pitching goes? Do you think either team has an edge, Boppy?
I think if there's an edge, it's razor thin, and I would almost give the razor thin edge. Believe it or not, I'd give the edge to the Giants, and that based on the fact that Roy Oswald has struggled against the Giants for his whole career. He struggled against San Francisco. But that being said, you can usually throw out regular season records and everything else, because this is the postseason. It really comes down to matchups, and there, the Giants have to have people that will get on base, get guys into the stretch, so that their situational hitting can deliver, so that they can manufacture those runs. The Phillies are much better, I would say, much better prepared, or they're better suited to that kind of a game, because they've got people like Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Jason Worth. They have people that do that all the time. I mean, if all they had were the sluggers, like Ryan Howard, then I would say the thing would be a toss-up. The Phillies have the edge with the lineup, but that razor-thin pitching edge, I give that to the Giants.
So you actually think that the Giants from 1 to 4 have a better pitching staff than the Phillies?
I like the matchups. I think that I really think a lot more of Jonathan Sanchez than most people in baseball do, and I really like the matchup of Matt Cain versus Cole Hamels. I think that's a great matchup for the Giants.
So has it been announced? Is Cain going in Game 3 against Hamels?
Yes, Cain's going Game 3.
Okay. I have to go with in that matchup. I'm going to have to go with Hamels, the way he's pitching this year. I saw him shut out the Reds in the NLDS.
That's understandable.
And he was just all of a sudden, after last year throwing 89 or 90 miles an hour, all of a sudden he's back up to 96. And his changeup, I haven't seen him throw a changeup in the last month or so that's been above the knees. I mean, he gets ahead of the hitters with that 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and then he comes in with that changeup that just dives down below the knees, and the hitters are having a tough time laying off of it. He has just been dynamite this year. He's back.
I think this is a case where Roy Halladay came over from the Toronto Blue Jays, and Halladay has reinvigorated Cole Hamels' career.
He's the Cole Hamels of 2 years ago, and whoever the Cole Hamels was last year, it was an imposter, because it certainly wasn't anywhere what the Cole Hamels was 2 years ago and the Cole Hamels this year. Yeah. And I totally agree with you with the Phillies having an edge offensively. There's no impact hitter in the Giants lineup right now like Orion Howard. Buster Posey, don't get me wrong, is a fine young hitter, and he's, it's going to be an interesting race for a National League Rookie of the Year between him and Hayward of the Braves. But Ryan Howard can either get you right back into the game with one swing or break it open with one swing. And to me, that's the key hitter that the Giants have to contain. If they can contain Ryan Howard, then I think they have a puncher's chance of winning the series.
And there's always a guy that, who is there that's the hidden star or could come through. I think for the Giants, the guy that could come forward and prove to be gold is the guy that literally was almost one of the most important players on their roster during the regular season from June till the end of the season, and that's Pat Burrell. There is no way to overestimate what he meant to the Giants in the last 4 months of the season. Unbelievable impact.
Right.
On a team that was struggling until he got there.
Right, I agree. If they don't get Pat Burrell, they don't win the National League West. Plain and simple. And if they don't bring up Buster Posey and he doesn't produce the way he did, they don't win the National League West. Plain and simple without him either. So to me,
I think the Phillies have got a guy like Jason Worth. He's the Pat Burrell on the other side. He's like a guy that not everyone knows about, but what an impact player.
Right. Right. Yeah, I would agree, and I think it's going to be a good series. I think it's going to be should be a lot of closely contested games. But if you look at the two teams, the way they've played all year, you have to favor the Phillies, I think. But the best team doesn't always win. All you have to do is go back to look at the 1960 World Series, when the Pirates got outscored by about 1 million runs overall, and yet still beat the Yankees in 7 games. So
yeah, the two keys for the Giants to win is they got to get run production. They got to get people on base, and the two guys that have to get on base in this series are Andres Torres and Freddie Sanchez. If they get on base, they're gonna make it really, really tough on the Philadelphia Phillies.
Would you agree that it's mandatory that the Giants get a split in Philly?
They have to show the Phillies that they can beat Roy Halladay. They have to. If they don't win that game, they have to come close to winning that game.
See,
they have got to get some confidence. Because they can't come back to San Francisco down 2-0.
Now, the way I see it, if they go back to San Francisco down 2-0, even if they take 2 out of 3 from the Phillies and Frisco, I don't see them sweeping the Phillies and Frisco.
This is a series where the Giants have to stay even. They can't ever be down more than 1 game. They have to win every other game, whether it's the first and third or second and fourth. They have to stay even.
Right. So what's your prediction for the series, Boppy?
What's that?
What's your prediction for the series?
I'm gonna predict since it's been since 1941 through 43 when the Cardinals were the National League champs 3 years in a row. I'm actually gonna pick the Giants. I'm gonna say no, we're not gonna make history this year. I'm gonna pick the Giants in 7.
Okay, so you're predicting 2 7-game series then in the LCSs.
Yeah, and then I think we'll have one of the great World Series of all time between the Giants and Rangers.
All right, and I'm going to go with the Phillies winning the series in 5. I just think they're going to be too tough for the Giants, and we'll deal with the World Series predictions before the World Series. So watch for that here on YouTube, fans. But you're predicting a Giants-Ranger World Series, and I'm predicting a Phillies-Rangers World Series. Thanks a lot for joining us, fans. Boppy, thanks for joining us from Modesto, and we'll talk to you later in another installment of Talking Rangers Baseball.